we get something that's called a retest where price hits this line of structure, the trend line in this case, and then continues with the previous movement, which in this case is a downward movement. However, buyers are being pretty scrappy here. So when price hits this form of structure, the next training or trading opportunity or period, price moves again in consolidation or this sideways movement. I want to dive into the use of the trend line. The trend line is one of my favorite tools because it's a very dynamic tool. Well, what do I mean? Well, yes, it can highlight the trend, obviously, but it can also show measurement of volume. It can also help me with entries and exits as well. And if you stay to the end of the video, we won't be here long, but I'll show you how to use this and make it an effective tool in your arsenal and give you a little bit more confidence and reassurance on entering and also exiting trades at some point. So what we're going to do here, and forgive my little production here, we're using a different tool and it was a little clunky, but I haven't put out a video in a couple of days, so I wanted to get something out to you. Okay. So we are looking here. This is the trend line that we have here established, that this is a downward movement. We know that price is trending in a sell because current price is below the 50. But this identifies this downward movement with the trend line. Now, as I said at the top at this, that there's other things that you can measure with using the trend line. One of those things is I can measure the amount of money or volume that is currently in this particular movement. So if you look at the space at this candle here from the trend line, you know when this initial downward movement happened that I could see that there was quite a bit of money here. Remember, money equals, or space equals money, I should say. So the further away price is from the trend line, right, the more money that's involved here. Now, when you get closer to current time or present price, as price moves in this sideways movement here, I know that the money is dissipating in this example on the downward movement. Again, price, the closer it gets to the trend line, the less volume there is on the downward movement. We are talking about money in the downward movement here because price is on this side of the trend line. And as we get closer and looks like we're going to get to a break of structure meaning that price crosses the trend line, we get something that's called a retest where price hits this line of structure, the trend line in this case, and then continues with the previous movement, which in this case is a downward movement. However, buyers are being pretty scrappy here. So when price hits this form of structure, the next trading opportunity or period, price moves again in consolidation or this sideways movement. Now, in this case, price does cross the trend line, giving us a break of structure. Now, this is where it gets really cool when it comes to the science of price action. A lot of people will want to put you in this trade here once it has a break of structure. Not me, because I teach my students we want to grade entries and exits based on the grade we give for the probability of success, meaning I have better chances in getting an upward movement or downward movement based on structure, volume, so forth. Well, the trend line comes into play here because of the fact that I see the cross here, the trend line, right? But I also see price here rejecting or respecting this area here until price crosses over yesterday's high. Yesterday's high in price action here is also a significant level of structure. Also, the 50 is a significant level of structure because of the fact that once price crosses the 50, we have initiated the trend changing, and also it signals that the money is now moving in an upper movement here. I don't care about the upper movement until price breaks the 50. There's some other factors here that we have to take into consideration. One is this narrow zone, the zone within the zone, what I like to call it, because I have a zone within the stone where we're looking at this demand box and this upper supply box. This is my trading zone. And then I have the zone, what I like to call the zone within the zone, between yesterday's low and yesterday's high. Now, I'm giving you some other factors here to help you with entries and exits, although entries and exits is not the subject here. We're talking about the trend line, but we want to fold it all in so you can better understand why I love the trend line so much. The reason the value is going to be skewed here is because this trading zone between yesterday's low and yesterday's high is very narrow, which complicates the question of value, because I teach my students that once price breaks yesterday's high or yesterday's low, price is overperforming. In this case, that is questionable because this zone is so narrow. So what we can use is our friend, the 200 moving average. The 200 moving average is above yesterday's high. So in this case, overperformance is not going to occur until price moves past or exceeds the 200. The opposite way, if this zone is narrow, but in this case, the 200 is below yesterday's low, then it won't be over or considered to be overperforming or being oversold unless price moves past the 200 in a downward movement. But in this case, the 200 is above yesterday's high, and you are not considered this to be oversold, or in this case overbought, if price moves past 200. Okay, I know that's a lot of words there. But what I want to emphasize here, because I have a signal or price that gives us the signal that it is a break of structure and price is moving into the upper movement, this is just the beginning, because I have elements of structure here that price has to get past. Not only that, price has to increase in volume, or there has to be more money here to make this what I call a show enough upper movement here. Okay? Because if I don't have a sure upper movement, then my grade or probability of success goes down considerably. Okay? So we have marked here in last night's class what we call a buy peak and a sell peak, which we have trap price. So a lot of my students, when they first start off, man, I don't want to stare at this chart all day. Well, you don't. You can set alerts. We can show you how to send those to your phone. That's a separate class. But once this alert goes off, I could come back to here and it could tell me, and then we start checking the boxes as far as, is this an actual trade, is price trending, and so forth. But we know by using the trend line, the further price is away from the trend line, the more money that goes into the upper movement. So the more money that goes into the upper movement, again, that grade of probability of success goes up. So when I look at current price, there's two questions we want to ask. Do I have volume? Do I have space? If the answer is no to any one of those, you do not have a trade at that point. Okay? So what we want to be able to understand is in fact, price is strong enough to get us to this next level, then the possibilities for entries and being able to determine, can I get in, can I get out kind of thing is more helpful with the use of the trend line. Now, a lot of times new traders or intermediate traders still have this anxiety about getting in and getting out. You have to, in order to be a successful trader, you have to be able to locate price, and you have to be able to determine or identify support, resistance, and structure. The trend line helps with that so much. But you still have to have a basic understanding of structure, because just because price crosses a trend line and commits a break of structure doesn't necessarily mean that that is going to be a point in which you enter a trade. So I hope these few minutes helped you in determining when to get in and out of a trade, and stay tuned to this channel because we do everything price action, and we'll be going over in the next few days and months on how to best use price action to make me a more profitable and successful trader. I hope this helped, and stay tuned for more videos just like this. Comment in the chat or what you want to see, and I'll be sure to do my best to get that to you. All right, you guys have a good day. Be kind to others. Be a blessing to others.